What's up, Laker fans? This is Daniel Beltz from King Watch LA, and the Lakers just beat the Nuggets about an hour and a half ago, and we live. Was very surprised to see this starters still playing in the fourth quarter, especially after all the talk that Vogel was speaking about with Morris, THT, and Dion playing X amount of minutes tonight. And once the Nuggets pulled their starters, I was surprised to see the Lakers keep their starters still out there, especially since the Lakers and Nuggets starters both seem to kind of be even for the first three quarters. Very, very surprised to see the Lakers keep AD and LeBron out there. Was very shocked to see LeBron play as much as he did tonight. And yeah, it seems that this was like the last night that both Anthony Davis and LeBron James will play before playoffs start, before the Lakers play the 8th seed, whoever that is. And we'll figure that out, who the Lakers are playing in, I guess, the next 3 or 4 days. And it was a very nice night. Lakers win. They end the 3-game losing streak. The longest losing streak the Lakers had this year was 4, and it's nice to see they didn't tie that. They had their 4-game losing streak at Christmas, and it was just cool to see. It was cool to see Kuz hit that shot. You kind of feel like he needed that, basically, even though he's been probably the second or third best Laker player this bubble. And you can pretty much get a really good argument that he's been the second best player on the Laker team in the bubble, because AD and LeBron have both been inconsistent. And yeah, what's up, Pappy?
What's up, bro? How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, actually. It was cool to see Kuzma hit that shot.
My bad. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Yeah. For Kuzma, I think that was big for his confidence. Well, I don't think Kuzma ever really lacks confidence, but I think just seeing a shot like that go in, if not for his confidence, I think it's big for the team's confidence in him. Granted, I mean, that game isn't, it's not like that game means a lot, but still I think it means a lot again for the team's confidence in him. You think that, okay, well, this may be a guy that we can rely on, down the stretch, if we in a tight game 4 and, let's say, Bron and AD may be off, we could get a ball to Kuzma, we could expect good things to happen. And I don't think that the Lakers have had faith in Kuzma this year. Good things would happen if you give him the ball, in pivotal situations. And I think that shows trust in Kuzma. So
yeah, both players crashed with AD. That's why AD didn't get that last shot off. One stuck with AD, and then one saved the basket where AD was trying to roll to, and Kuzma was wide open. So you definitely need to see that for Kuzma, because if you get that wide open of a shot to end the game, you have to hit that. Especially if AD or Bron isn't taking that last shot, you need to see one of your good players make it. Like if Danny Green would have shot that, if Dion would have shot that, they would have had to make it for you to have confidence in the playoffs going forward. And I do believe Kuzma kind of has that confidence, and not only himself, I feel like the team confides in him as well. If you listen to LeBron and AD talk post-game, LeBron said Kuzma has to be the third best player if we're going to win the championship. Like, he has to be that.
I think Kuzma has been that throughout the course of the bubble, though. Like, even if he wasn't shooting well, I think arguably outside of Anthony Davis, who was always Anthony Davis, I think Kuzma has been their best defender.
Yeah, like
throughout the entire time of the bubble. One, I think we had to remember that I think we all kind of forget he was hurt to start the season. Yeah. Like he did. What did he break his ankle? He
tweaked it for the Team USA, and Coach Pop actually talked about it. He loved what he saw from Kyle Kuzma at the Team USA scrimmages, and even I believe the first game they had, and then he tweaked his ankle pretty bad, and that was it.
Yeah, so he was coming off an injury, so we don't know what he would have looked like if he would have got to start this season healthy. So even with him having a break, this might be the first time all year that he's healthy. And I think that more so shows up in his defense. I mean, even the first game when they played the Clippers, I thought he was the best defender on Kawhi. Like the way that he was guarding Kawhi was like, oh, we get into a series, we don't have to stick Bron on Kawhi. I can leave Kuzma on Kawhi, and I can feel confident that he'll offer some resistance.
Yeah. And you said Kuzma's been the third best player. I would even say second.
Because Bron been terrible.
Kuz has been consistent every night. And I wouldn't even know, like, you can maybe even say Kuz's been the best. Because, like, AD in wins, he's been great. In losses, he's been god-awful.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
In Orlando, Kuz has been maybe first, second, third best player, however you want to rank it. And it just seems he's bought into the team mindset, like he's going to attack the bubble and he's going to do whatever the Lakers need him to do to win a championship. And he's played defense, like you said, against the Clippers in the first game. Like you don't shut down Kawhi, you don't shut down Paul George, but he made it tough. Like he made it tough to where Kawhi would have to make a shot over him, and he played well.
Yeah, I mean, and this is all throughout the floor too. I think he's a very versatile defender. I mean, you even saw, the play they had on Bobo, which wasn't a foul. It was still good defense. They called a foul, but to me, it was still good defense. But you see him guarding all over the floor. He can go pick up a guard on the perimeter. Guard out there in a space. He can also guard in the post when you need him to. So he's a very, very versatile defender. And I think that's been the best thing that he's brought to the team, in my opinion, because I think that with Avery Bradley being gone. With Bron's age, KCP is a little bit too small to guard some wings. I don't think you really want. And Danny Green, I don't think Danny Green at this age, I don't think he's the same defender that he once was.
He's too slow.
Yeah. So him guarding. So I guess the best person they have to guard wings is actually Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah.
And you play these good wings in the West. I think Kuzma's gonna have to be one of those guys who steps up and consistently takes that challenge. And obviously, like you said, you're not gonna stop some of the elite wing players, but at least offer some resistance.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Any wing with the pass first mentality, I don't want Kyle Kuzma guarding that person. But any wing that just wants to get buckets, put Kyle Kuzma on him, because it feels like if you want to get Kyle Kuzma to do too many things at once, he's not going to be able to do it. But if you just dumb it down for him to do something on defense, like, hey, try to make that guy, try to make it difficult for that guy to score, he can do it. But if you saw Kyle Kuzma try to guard Luka, you have no idea what the hell Luka's going to do. You don't know if he's going to shoot, pass, pump fake. So it was pretty bad for Kuzma. But you watch him play Paul George, like even Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum isn't looking to pass. He's looking to score.
Yeah.
And the 2 games that Kyle Kuzma has played Jason Tatum this year, he's kind of made it difficult on him. So if it's a pass first wing, I don't want to see it, put Bron on him. But if it's just a score first wing, put Kuzma on him.
Yeah, he's not versatile enough to be able to guard. Well, I don't say versatile. He's not disciplined enough to be able to guard Luka. With the way like Luka be flopping all over the court and doing all types of pump. Like Luka might go out there and give you 2-3 pump fakes, spin around, and then jump into you. Like he's not disciplined enough to stay down for that. I mean, very few people are, but definitely Kyle Kuzma not disciplined enough to stay down for that. But like you said, if it's a Jason Tatum, a guy who it's kind of a mercenary when it comes to just scoring the basketball, Kuzma will be fine. I feel comfortable with his size, his speed, and his intensity on that defensive end, that he can like I said, at least offer some type of resistance.
Yeah. And like you're talking about the Bol possession where Kuzma didn't foul him, I was shocked the Lakers didn't challenge that. I thought if you're going to challenge something in the game that's late in the fourth quarter, that's 2 free throws, you should have challenged that. Even though I think Bol missed both free throws, I believe. So I don't feel like that challenge would have gotten them anything.
I think he missed one. I think he missed the first free throw and then made the second one. I could be wrong. I think he missed one.
But I didn't see Kuz foul him. He was right up in his face, right up in the shooter's pocket. So that was great defense by Kuz. They just got called for a foul. So when Bron or AD says Kuzma has to be the third best player on the Lakers team, it doesn't mean offense. Even though that's what you think Kyle Kuzma is, you just think of him as an offensive player. There has been nights where he's been the second best defensive player on the team. And so if the Lakers do win a championship, he will have to be the third most important player on the team.
I agree.
Basically, because I didn't expect Danny Green to fall off a cliff.
Yeah, how many more Greens? I don't know what's going on with Danny Green.
Yeah. Like even tonight, he shot the ball from 3 well, but it seemed he couldn't guard anyone in the fourth. Dion couldn't guard anyone in the fourth. Rotations were shit, and Kuzma just seemed ready.
That's an issue that they're really going to have, is that they went from being a good defensive team to now. I mean, they lost Avery Bradley, which I don't think people really understand how huge of a loss that is for this team. Like I think that when their defense even during the season slipped when Avery Bradley got hurt. Like Avery Bradley's guy who comes out, he is the point of attack. So when he's not there, things just guards get a little bit of an easier time. KCP doesn't really. What is he best guarding? He can't. I don't think he's best guarding point guards, like quick guards. They just get by him. But then, like you talk about a little bit bigger guards, I don't think he has the size to be able to guard them. So it's like I don't know what KCP actually guards. Like you said, Danny Green just seems like he's falling off a cliff. Braun, even though I personally think Braun should make the all defensive team this year, Braun still is 35 years old. I mean, he can get you a possession or two, like you saw again in the Clippers game when he, stepped up in a couple possessions and really locked in and played defense. But you're not asking for Braun to go out there and guard somebody for 48 minutes and be the point guard, especially because there's no Rondo there. So, and facilitate the offense and score at his age. That's just unrealistic. So yeah, I think, like you said, I think it is very, very important that Kuzma always steps up on that end, because defensively they don't look good at all right now.
Yeah.
Like, again, this Nuggets game, like, I understand there was probably not a single scouting report on anybody who was on the court, because literally I'm watching the game like, who the hell is this? I'm like, I don't even know whether to say cash or good, because I don't know who these people are. I've literally never seen them play. So I'm sure the Lakers have literally never seen them play either. But some of the things that they were doing was just defensive breakdown levels on them. It was like somebody was popping up wide open and everybody looking around everybody else like, bro, what the hell going on?
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
Now, if guys are out there doing certain things, because it's like let's say, you go underneath a screen because you literally have no idea what this man shoots from three, that's something different. But some of this was just like people just popping up wide open, and it's like, all right.
Like the amount of times you saw that happen in the fourth quarter, it was troubling. You saw LeBron and AD looking around like, who's supposed to guard him? And it was Dion or I believe Danny Green. And they're just like, they both seemed to like not understand who was supposed to switch on. I think PJ Dozier, which I can't believe this was the guy that took number 35 after Kevin Durant left. I can't believe that was the guy that was making shots tonight. That was the whole like jersey fiasco about.
Yeah.
Because PJ Dozier took 35 after KD left.
I'm crying. That's hilarious.
And I hadn't seen this guy in the NBA since then until today. Because I was like, who the hell is 35 making shots?
Literally. I heard of that. I think I was watching some Nuggets game and they put him in the game, and I'm like, it was the Jazz game. I think they had him guarding Donovan Mitchell, and I'm like, they just put like a random person on Donovan Mitchell. Like, all right, didn't like I see him. They making shots. I'm like, I've never seen this man shoot the ball before, ever. They just put in some random people, but like you said, but also the thing that they're playing lineups like that they've never played before.
Yeah.
So which is like another thing. Like even though this is what game, I don't know, maybe 70 at this point. They basically damn near signed a whole new team before, like with the like Dion wasn't there and JR wasn't there. And these are people who are getting pivotal minutes now. Even Caruso was getting more pivotal minutes than what he was getting, at first. So they're also running lineups that they have never really ran before. And even with covering the W, I don't know how much practice time they get or like how much you can actually practice in the bubble when you're playing every other day. I don't know how much practice time you actually get and how much time you actually getting on the court. So I think that they'll be working in the rhythm for a while, and I think that could either be to their detriment or they can figure it out.
Yeah, and it seems that none of these Lakers have played with each other. Like it just looks like they just threw out 5 people, and then Frank Vogel saying, "We'll see what we can do come playoff time." Because I theoretically think the Lakers need to only play 8 or 9 players going into the playoffs.
Facts, true.
I don't know how much I trust J.R. Smith in the playoff series. I don't know if I want to see him on the court. And I've gotten to the point where I don't know if I want to see JaVale McGee play. Because Dwight Howard has outplayed him in the past 40, 50 games. Anthony Davis is going to serve best at the 5. So I think JaVale falls out of the playoff rotation. Especially if you looked at what Markieff Morris brought, you can put him next to AD, and it fits way better than JaVale or Dwight.
I think JaVale has a place. The reason why I think JaVale has a place is because I've seen JaVale in like 2 straight finals, and he wasn't terrible. Now, I don't think that you should be going out there relying on JaVale for 30 minutes a night. Like, if you relying on JaVale for literal starter minutes, then, like, no. I think that you should rely on JaVale's 6 fouls. That you should rely on JaVale's jumping ability for 10 to 15 minutes a game. And I'm with you. I would trust Dwight. I would trust Keith. I would trust AD. I would trust Kuzma a little bit more in these situations. But I don't think JaVale just completely falls out of the rotation because, again, it's funny to say, but JaVale's a veteran and JaVale is actually battle tested. He's been in 3 finals now.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Like outside of what Bron and Rondo, he probably got the most final experience. Bron, Rondo, and DG. He got the most final, and well, JR. But do you really want to count JR?
Yeah, no.
He has like the most final experience on the team. So,
but with JaVale, just him fitting into a team, I believe he was only that successful because he played with elite spacing. When you put JaVale into the Lakers spacing, it clogs it up.
Of course,
because you don't have Steph, Clay, KD. So I feel like if you have JaVale out there, it doesn't really do anything. Whereas with the Warriors, you try to set a screen for Curry, they both go to Curry, JaVale's wide open dunk. With the Lakers, I don't know if you have that. No one's attacking the screen like that. No, so JaVale's not getting those easy dunks. He's not getting those just just an easy dunk in that kind of half-court set. That's why the Lakers kind of struggle in the half-court sets when JaVale's out there. Mm-hmm. Because AD's he's not like very reliable from three. Depends on
three.
And then if you put Caruso in there, he's okay from three. He's not great. Danny Green's been trending downwards.
How many more?
Yeah. I hate making jokes about that because it's.
No, I'm sorry. I'm telling you, it is. I hope he never makes the three because the joke is so damn funny, yo. Like the joke is so damn funny to the point where I literally hope he never makes the three just so I can tweet it every day because it's literally hilarious. The fact that he has that on the back of his jersey and keeps missing threes is just hilarious. But so I want to say I forgot what I was gonna say. That's actually why AD literally needs to play the five. Yeah. Like I understand him playing the four is probably actually why he hasn't won as much as he wants to win. He needs to literally play the five. Like the fact that you can do everything, he's not great at doing everything. He's just not great at doing everything. Like he's not a Giannis where he can, handle the ball like that. He isn't great pass, he can handle the ball, but not to like a Giannis level. He's not great at passing out of a double team. Like he, for the most part, needs to be fed the ball and put in positions, and then you go score like that. He actually does. It would open up the team a lot if he wanted to play the five. But the thing about him is he wants to be Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's cool, but how much did KG even win in Minnesota when he needed great guard play? He needed he had his most success. He had Sam Cassell with him, who even though he wasn't he might have been an all-star that year, maybe.
I think he did. I think he made it either that year or the year before.
Yeah. So he had before Rondo his best guard that he had ever played with. So it's like AD the team will work a lot better if AD did want to play the five. And I think at some point in time in the playoffs, he's going to have to suck it up. And even though he doesn't like doing it, he's going to have to play a solid amount of his minutes at the five.
Yeah, I feel like when the Lakers get to the second round or even third round, I see JaVale dropping out of the lineup. And I see Kuzma entering the starting lineup, and I see AD going to the five. And I think that's the only way it's going to work.
You want Kuzma starting, though?
Yes, because he can play the whole first quarter with AD, and then LeBron come in with like Caruso, Markieff, and some others, and White, and just try to keep it afloat until AD and Kuz come back, and you can take over with Bron as well. It's just because I don't know. I don't trust Caruso, KCP, Danny Green, AD, LeBron starting lineup either. I don't know how that works compared to a Kuzma lineup.
Fair,
because it'll be interesting.
I'm thinking about they don't really have many options right now. Like I would prefer Kuz coming off the bench just because I like having that score or that 6 man off my bench. But you have waiters. I mean, you hope that you can get that kind of scoring punch from Philly Jordan. I mean, you hope that. I mean, who know? It remains to be seen if that will happen. But I think that's the thought process.
Because like tonight, first quarter, it seemed like the Lakers ran more sets to get AD involved, and Kuzma might have provided that spacing, or they might have actually just ran some sets that they hadn't done in the first 6 bubble games. Because the very first play of the game, they set that pin down for AD to come off the screen. I hadn't seen AD get that easy of a look in I think the whole entire bubble games, and I'm like, oh shit, we're actually running Laker offense today.
I mean, had that lineup ever been run at all throughout the season?
I believe so.
They ran the lineup before.
Yeah, but I just scarcely.
Yeah, I was about to say if it's been ran before, I don't think. But even still, like in these past couple games, I've literally seen lineups. I swear to God, I've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they have like Quinn Cook, and Alex Caruso on the court at the same time?
Yeah, and that's just bad.
I've never seen that before. I'm like, yo, what is this? I see like Alex Caruso trying to like throw lies. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
The hell is going on? So, I mean, again, you're right. Like, even with the cause for worry, I think they have a real cause. But I think every team honestly has like real cause for worry. But I think that a lot of what you're saying from the Lakers is the fact that they are running lineups that literally we have never seen them run before, and you got guys playing in positions that probably they've never played before all year. So,
yeah, I would say the only cause for concern is guard play, and it's not offensively; it's defensively. Like
offensively too.
Offensively
too.
I think the scoring will run out. I think that KCP, Danny Green will be okay offensively, and I think Caruso, Dion, and some others will do fine.
See, it's not the scoring I'm worried about. Like, even for instance, the Indiana game when Bron checked out, I think Bron checked out in the third quarter and had like a 7-point lead. The shit evaporated so quick. I've never seen a 7-point lead evaporate so quick. It evaporated. Like Caruso was at the helm and it just didn't work out, which is why I've said I think they need Rondo back. I really think they do need. I know you don't want to hear it, but I think they do need Rondo back. The reason I think they need Rondo back is just that wouldn't have. Rondo ain't gonna lose a 7-point lead that quick.
He is. It's happened before this year.
But the thing,
it's happened his entire career in a Laker jersey.
Go
watch the film. I've seen it happen, and I don't want to see it because he just over dribbles. If he would, like with Dion, why I don't mind his stupid shot attempts is because at least he goes with his first instinct. Rondo will just dribble, pass it to Kuzma with 0.6 left, and like just have to hoist up some random ass 3-pointer. I'm like, that's not going in. But Dion, I'm like, you know what? He's irrational confidence. Maybe that shit goes in.
But see, I just still have faith in Rondo. I think playoff Rondo was a real thing, and I think I have faith in him to just manage the game. Like in the playoffs, I actually might rather you dribble, and take time off the clock instead of just shooting the first shot that you see and it bounces off the one wrong, and now somebody runs down the court and gets a layup gets a three. And I just think that also I think the Lakers sometimes use Rondo wrong. Like I've seen many times this year when like LeBron's running point and Rondo was in the corner. Well, if Rondo is in the corner, what the hell is Rondo supposed to do when Rondo's in the corner? Like in that situation, Rondo should be playing a point guard. You should move LeBron to the 4 and more of the scorer position. And then you can have AD at the 5, Bron at the 4. And you be like, you know what, hey, Bron, you just worry about going to score. So, yes, I do agree with you. I don't think that Rondo has had the best year, but I also don't think the Lakers helped Rondo have the best year at times either.
Yeah, that's the Lakers only need to run one big. Anytime you put any of these players out there on the court with 2 bigs, it's doing them a disservice. You're seeing every team they play against get ready for the playoffs, except the Lakers who are playing 2-3 bigs at a time, and I'm just like why? And like with Rondo, they even played 2 bigs with them, and if you play Rondo with LeBron, it's like, why is Rondo on the court? Because Rondo is not a 3-point shooter. He's not a spot-up 3-point shooter. There's not like he doesn't provide spacing for Bron either. I'm like, why is Rondo on the court?
It's not why is he on the because I think because I think LeBron at his age, you still need Bron to score. And I don't always know if LeBron at his age should be initiating his offense 26 feet away from the rim. I think if you do bring a Rondo in, you can put Bron in the post. Like a Bron, I saw somebody tweet today, a Bron post up is still very efficient. Like he's not many people are going to be able to outmuscle LeBron in the post. He's right there near the rim. He's probably either going to get fouled or it's a layup easy. And it's like, I personally think there will come a time in which I want LeBron in score mode. Like, hey, Bron, for these next 3 minutes, don't worry about getting nobody involved. We got this person for that. You go out there and score. If they come W, then you do what you do and you have at it. But for these 3 minutes, you go in score mode. So I think that Rondo does have a place on the court with Bron. It's just like you have to let Rondo be Rondo. But I understand because you have LeBron James, and like LeBron James being LeBron James is probably better than anybody doing whatever they're doing in the history of basketball. So I understand the thinking of like, yo, you need to adjust to Bron. But if you're going to run Rondo and Bron on the court, then you have to let Rondo be Rondo.
I wouldn't say so because Rondo and LeBron have the worst net rating since Rondo's put on a Laker jersey.
Yeah, but again,
the entire league the past 2 years.
Yeah, but again, this is why, because so many times Rondo gets stuck in the corner. If you're gonna stick Rondo in the corner, then yeah, his net rating gonna be shit.
But we're even like including like the Bulls players and like the Cavs, who have been atrocious, like losing like 50 more games than they won.
Like yes, I feel you. But again, you gotta let Rondo be Rondo. If you're gonna stick Rondo in the corner, who's literally been a pure point guard, the definition, can we all agree that Rondo is probably maybe arguably top 20 point guard in NBA history?
I wouldn't say I'd go closer to top like 12.
Oh, well, even better. Top 12 point guard in NBA history. What is Rondo known for doing his whole career?
I just don't want to see it.
I feel you, but he's known for setting up a team, you know, being a pure point guard his whole career. He's not now. His three ball has gotten better. Mm-hmm. It's definitely gotten better over the years, but he's still not like a knockdown shooter. You can stick, which is why it sucks that Avery Bradley is gone. You can stick Avery Bradley in the corner. I don't have the stats in front of me right now, but I think that Avery Bradley has shot 40% a couple years from the corners in his career. Rondo, he's not a 3-point shooter. So yeah, if you just go, I've seen too many times in which the Lakers play in a Rondo corner three. What? Why is the ball getting swung to Rondo? I would rather the ball get swung to Bron for a corner three than swung to Rondo for a corner. Like, that's not Rondo. So yes, the net rating like is what it is, and I can't argue with that. But I would argue a lot of why the net rating is because Rondo gets utilized wrong.
And so we're talking about offense, defense. He's been equally as atrocious, I believe, defensively as he has been offensively too.
That's fair.
So I don't need these question marks on offense if you're that bad on defense.
That's fair.
Kind of like JR. I don't need that question mark in the playoffs. I'm good. I'm maybe garbage time. Maybe if we're down like 18 and we need like some threes, put them in the game, see what happens. But I don't need Rondo touching the court. And then like one of our comments is if it means Quinn Cook doesn't have to touch the ball, he'll take Rondo. I don't know. Quinn Cook seemed to do a lot in that Pacer game or the game before, whatever, he hit all those threes, which I was surprised.
He was okay. Yeah. But even still, when I saw Quinn Cook, I saw too many times when I saw Quinn Cook trying to set up an offense. I've never seen Quinn Cook try to initiate offense ever. I saw Quinn Cook even doing things that I don't think Quinn Cook should be doing. I think Quinn Cook should be used really as an off guard, not really a main guard, really as like an off guard. And, you know, the most you do, everything Quinn Cook do should be 2 dribbles. Okay. If Quinn Cook taking more than 2 dribbles, something going wrong. And I saw way too many times in that game, it was Quinn Cook was taking way more than 2 dribbles.
Kind of like what Danny Green and KCP should be under. You shouldn't take more than 2-3 dribbles.
No more than 2 dribbles. 3 is even pushing it. 3 is a stretch. You should be boom. Everything you do should be a shooting drill.
Okay.
Literally 1-2 shoot, 1-2 shoot, catch, bounce, shoot, whatever. Everything you do should be a shooting drill. You should not have no creativity ability, period.
And I think if people still believe in playoff Rondo, that's the equivalent of believing your ex is going to take you back.
Oh, because last time you saw Rondo in the playoffs, he was good.
Yeah, what, 5 years ago? 4 years ago?
2.
That was what, 2017?
No, that was 2018 when the Pelicans went to the second round when they swept the Blazers and then met the Warriors. He was great.
Was that more Rondo or Drew or AD?
No, the thing about AD is somebody had to feed him the ball. So it was like Rondo was the one feeding him the basketball.
But that was AD playing the 5, right?
Yep.
So if I can take out Rondo and sub in Bron or sub in AC or Dion, I think I live with that.
I don't trust AC more than Rondo. I'm sorry. Now defensively, sure. I think, you know, Caruso is a bigger body. I think he does a lot of things defensively that other people that they really don't have another guard that they want to do. What that wants to do. I think Caruso is like the tool guy.
Okay.
You know, but as far as like who do I trust more with the ball in their hands to make a decision, I'm sorry, I trust Rondo. Maybe I'm wrong for still having faith in Rondo, but I still got faith in Rondo in spots. Okay. Obviously, Rondo is 35 years old. There's certain things you shouldn't ask him to do no more. But like in spots, I still have faith in Rondo.
And with where we've seen Danny Green's like body kind of fail him, I think that kind of happened with Rondo. So I feel like everything he provides, he just doesn't have that. Mentally, he does. That's why I would love to see him on the sidelines with the Lakers. I would love to see him kind of like lead some huddles instead of Jason Kidd. and Vogel. I don't know if I trust Vogel to make adjustments in a 7-game series. He does all this talking about how he can see how the offense works with AD at the 5, yet we've seen nothing the entire year with AD at the 5, basically.
That's on AD though.
And like, AD is gonna have to step up and say, hey, like I'm done playing the 4. I want to win. I need to play the 5.
Yeah, but AD has to do that because AD is in a situation where it's like you really can't tell AD anything because AD has a contract coming up. Yeah. So you don't want to make AD angry. It's like you kind of just gotta let AD do whatever AD want to do because AD got a whole contract coming up.
Yep.
And you don't want it to be a situation where we traded out. I mean, even though it seemed like these young guys, I mean, the way Lonzo been looking, it seemed like you could have traded Lonzo for anything.
I don't want to hear this, man.
The way that like he been looking in the bubble, so you could have traded that man for anything, but you don't want to make this trade and then like it's all for nothing because AD leaves. So AD's in a very delicate situation. So it's like it's on him to decide what he wants to do if that's best for the team.
But I feel like why come to LA and play with Braun if you're not trying to win?
Because he can win playing because he think he can win doing what he doing. I mean, they were the number 1 seed doing they were the number 1 seed doing what he was doing. So he in his mind, he probably thinks that he can win that way.
But he has to have seen when teams play him kind of like playoff style where they shorten their rotation, where they put just one big on the court and how difficult it is for him to score. If you've watched him play the Raptors, it's not good. Because
Go ahead.
Because like they kind of like dictate into their defensive stance where they can match bodies just playing one big on the floor.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Bucks can match that. So like if they're gonna win, he's gonna have to play the 5.
Yeah, but see, the Raptors are a team where it's like I don't think that the Lakers could do anything to beat the Raptors anyway. Because I think that the Raptors have the Raptors have bodies on bodies on bodies on bodies that could switch between Braun and AD seamlessly.
In a 7-game series, I think you have to have a superstar for that. Not even a superstar. I think an all-star. They don't need a superstar. They just need an all-star.
They got 2 of them. They got two all-stars. They have no superstars. They have 2 all-stars. And then they have other like Van Vliet is a solid guy. Serge is like a solid guy. Marc Gasol, even though he's old, I still think Marc Gasol can give you something. That's why that's why I think the Raptors are still a tough out for anybody because of the fact that they don't have that consummate superstar guy, but I think they have really great defense. I think they have the ability to be a special defensive team with or without Kawhi, and also I think they have number 1, they're battle tested. Like again, I was on from now the Philly series. Kawhi put them on their back and drug them, but after that. I mean, Kawhi was ailing a lot of the times. I remember Van Vliet stepped up, Lowry stepped up, Siakam stepped up. You still got Serge, Gasol, so they still have a good body of a team. Yeah. So I think the Raptors could get away with it because again they still do have 2 all-stars on the team. I
just think one of them needs to play in between that like atmosphere of all-star and superstar, and I don't know if Kyle Lowry and Siakam can combine for that for a whole series, so I don't know. But like we've seen, like you said, Lowry stepped up last season, and like you've said, Lowry maybe should have been the Finals MVP. I'm not going that far.
I third. In every single game that they won, Lowry usually had the best plus minus on the team, or Lowry usually had a good game. And when Lowry had a good game, Siakam had a good game.
Yeah. So that's why, with that thinking, that's why I had Clay for the Warriors' best player. Because anytime the Warriors won, Clay was their best player.
That's fair. I mean, I think if the Warriors actually would have been able to, push the series to 7, Clay probably would have won. With the performance he was having in Game 6, I think he probably would have won.
Let's see. Any other concerns you have about the Lakers roster? They seem to have found their 3-point stroke again tonight, and like the night before, it kind of seems like the laws of the mean are going to average out.
Nah, just like I said, I think guard play is a concern. AD in the fadeaways is a concern. I still don't think AD dominates his floor space. I still think that AD is kind of like, he might go off, like he might actually get hot and go off of 50 like he did against Utah, but you really trust him to be out there just shooting like that for 7 straight games? I'll take my chances with that. If he gonna shoot like that for 7 straight games, you know what? We need to lead a bubble. Maybe we need to go back to our hometown because it's over with. But I don't trust that to happen 7 times. And with Bron,
does he fall in love with his fadeaway and his step back 3-pointer too much?
I think he has to because he can't get by people the same way he used to. And for whatever reason, nobody is making Bron play closer to the basket. So it's like, again, that's what I talk about, initiating all his offense from 30 feet away. Like if this was 10 years ago, he could beat everybody off the dribble. He didn't really have to shoot. Now he can beat some people off the dribble.
Yeah.
He can still beat most people because he's LeBron James. Yeah. But when it comes to those, select group of defenders, and that's why I was worried, the first couple of games, because that Thunder game looked bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like Darius Bazley was offering resistance. That's not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen. Now, Kawhi, the Raptors, some people with great defenders, that's something different. Darius Bazley offering resistance and Hamidou Diallo offering resistance, that's not supposed to happen. So I think a lot of times, yes, I do think he settles a lot now. I think he settles a lot now because he has to settle, whereas opposed to 10 years ago, he didn't have to settle.
Yeah, but Bron can't play in the post if the Lakers play 2 bigs.
I agree with that as well.
Bron can't play in the post if they play Rondo with AD.
I see, but I still think Bron can play in the post in those in that aspect. Like I think you can give him the ball, move Rondo somewhere else, and even if they do come double, Rondo can cut to the rim. AD can pop out, boom, quick pass out. I think there are still things that like you can do because you would. I think you can use a post player if one player can't shoot.
Yeah.
But like if you got 2 players on the team that can't shoot, then you can't do that.
And see, like the schemes that make sense, but whenever they've tried that with Rondo, it just whatever happened just didn't happen the correct way. So I don't know. Maybe he does make better plays in the postseason. Maybe he is playoff Rondo, but what I've seen, I just don't think that works with Bron on the post. With you have Rondo out there.
I personally think it could work.
Yeah,
but that's
like schematically it should. Like schematically, what you say, someone doubles, Rondo cuts, lob to AD, boom, you get back on defense. That's how it should work. But I don't know.
Fair.
Let's see. What else do you want to get into about Lakers basketball tonight?
Who are there any matchups that you are outside of maybe the Clippers? Are there any matchups that you are scared of?
To be honest, I'm not scared about seeing the Clippers in a 7-game series.
Why?
Because I don't think they have. I don't trust Lou Will in a 7-game series.
Fair.
And I just like what the Lakers lack on defense isn't where like the Clippers excel. Because like the Lakers do have kind of like the length to throw at them.
Fair.
The team that scares me in the West, and I hate to admit it, and you're gonna love this, is the Rockets. Especially if Ben McLemore is shooting 40% from 3. If Ben McLemore is shooting 40% from 3, we're not winning that series.
Whatever the confidence D'Antoni gives to like mid-level players is incredible. Because Ben McLemore, like when they signed Ben McLemore, I was like, oh, okay, like yeah, he can maybe shoot the threes and help. But Ben McLemore has been lights out. Like he damn near don't miss.
And it's crazy to see because I watched him in Sacramento and he was not this. I watched him wherever else he went out there.
Memphis, he went to Memphis. He got to Houston and he damn near does not miss.
And he was waiting on his Kobe challenge, never got it. And this might be it. Whatever the hell that was, this is it. This is his season. Kobe never responded.
Kobe never responded to that man. He said, "Where's my challenge?" He never responded to that man. It's like,
and this is it. This is his challenge.
I'm with you. I think the Rockets really present a lot of matchup problems for the Lakers. For one, they have nobody to guard their backcourt.
No,
at all. Nobody to guard their backcourt. And then, like you said, the Lakers fall in love with bigs. And even still, like AD, their bigs would have to be so far away from the rim. And then Russ makes you collapse, and you have to collapse. And if the Rockets are going to hit shots, they take so many threes that it don't matter if they hit shots. Yeah. Like they take so many threes that they're going to end up hitting 20 of them because they shooting like 60. And that's 30%. That's not even a good night shooting. So if you have a good night shooting and you shoot 40% and you just, shot 60 threes, I don't know off the top of my head how many, that's like 25 threes. If you hit 25 threes in a game, bro, you didn't damn near like nullify anything the other team has done.
Yeah. And then, so just with the Rockets, I just don't know how we guard Harden and Westbrook over a 7-game series. And with McLemore playing this well, I don't know how much of a hot take this is, but I don't know how you insert Eric Gordon into this.
I think you have to be careful with inserting
because
Eric Gordon.
McLemore, I've seen him play better defense than Eric Gordon, and he's providing spacing as well. So, like, I don't know what the give and take is with Eric Gordon and Ben McLemore.
The thing about EG is better at putting the ball on the floor.
Yep.
And it's like EG is decent with making straight line drives to the rim, and it's like, you make it in a situation where, it just gives you another option. Like I like what Austin Rivers does.
Yep.
Like Austin Rivers can make a shot, but he had 40 the other day against Sacramento, which is like whatever. But he can put the ball on the floor and make a drive to the rim. EG, go ahead.
We've already talked about 3 players who can put the ball on the floor. Why do you need a 4th? You have EG, Harden, Westbrook. Why do you want the ball out of someone else's hands?
Because the Rockets have so many streaky players that you need to offset the streakiness, in my opinion. They just have so many streaky players. Like somebody jump shot could literally just not work that night, and it's like they are completely off. I think you just have so many streaky players that you need to offset the streakiness. But I think you have to, again, be careful with Eric Gordon because it seems like they do have some type of rhythm right now. And EG has been a guy who's been hurt pretty much all year. So it's like they might not even have a rhythm with him, and we don't really have the time to try to figure out rhythm with you. So I do think that they need to be careful with inserting Eric Gordon, but I do think that Eric Gordon can help if he's healthy.
Yeah, so in the West, Rockets, number one concern. The team I think can maybe take the Lakers. No idea. AD would have to be the best player of that series, though, for the Lakers to advance. Against the Clippers, I think the Lakers win. I think they match up well against each other. And I feel like the Rockets maybe might have more advantages against the Lakers than the Lakers have. First round, no concern. I don't care who gets the 8 seed. It's Lakers in 5.
I don't know about that, Jim.
And that's being respectful to Dame. If they get the Suns, it's over in 5, or it's over in 4. They get the Grizzlies, it's over in 4.
So in 4.
Dame.
Blazers, I think might be 6. The reason I think it might be 6 is because I literally think the Blazers backcourt could average 55.
Yeah, and we've seen them average that, but they're basically losing to the Clippers' second string, and they almost lost to whoever they played their second string too. They can average all these points, but I just think when it comes down to it, they can't stop anybody.
My issue with the Blazers is I wonder if, they've been kind of inconsistent all year. I wonder if they're just inconsistent. And also I'm starting to worry about their coaching. I don't know if Terry Stotts is the guy for the job, and I don't ever want to call for nobody to get fired, but I don't know if Terry Stotts is the guy for the job. Like, even when I watched that Clippers game the other day, when Nurk took that one-legged step back that I've never seen him shot, I'm like, oh, okay, we didn't went down. We're like headed down a dark path. Yeah. I'm like, yo, call a timeout and run something, yo. Like, you can't just let them just pass the ball around the perimeter and play here. You take it for 2 minutes in a pivotal game that you need against the Clippers backup. You got to go, hey, man, let's go get something. Now, you would think the people on the court would be like, you know what, hey, let's settle this down and go get something. But if they're not doing that, you as a coach have to call something and have to run something. And I think it's been too many times in which, like, the avalanche has happened with Portland, and it's like he just sits back there and just is like, okay, Dame, figure it out. And it's like, no, bro, you're the coach, do something. Yeah. So I feel you because I also think that they are a little. I wonder if they're just inconsistent. But I would say 6 because I just think that the Lakers' backcourt is defensively poor, and I just think that Dame and CJ could get it to 6.
And with Lakers, how they've looked in the bubble, I do question how hard Danny Green's trying on defense. He's kind of probably just like, hey, let's just hurry this shit up to the postseason. Like, I'm 34, 35. Let's just wrap it up. KCP, Alex Caruso, they've both gotten hurt in almost every single game they've played. So durability will be something I question about them. But with the Blazers, I think it's over in 5 at max unless Gary Trent Jr. continues whatever hot streak he's on.
He's been going crazy.
He's been shooting as well as Kuzma and McLemore have from 3 in this bubble, which is nuts.
Going crazy.
So I don't know. East teams, it's hard to rank Bucks, Raptors, Celtics. They all fall there. I think there's advantages and weaknesses with each of their rosters. I don't want to trash the Bucks, but I kind of fear them less than the other 2 teams.
I agree with you. I think that the Bucks. I actually don't think the Bucks have the defenders to guard LeBron.
You wouldn't say the defensive play of the year can guard Braun?
He don't be guarding nobody.
Exactly.
Like he just like literally like I'm watching the Mavericks game and I'm like, now granted, Luka did. I mean, well, Giannis did have 5 fouls, but I'm like, yo, you as the defensive player of the year, it's fucking 50 seconds left. Yo, we need to stop. Yeah. You can't take this, man. Like he literally creating a mixtape all over Eric Bledsoe and whoever else. You can't pick this man up for one possession and get a stop.
Yeah.
He don't never guard nobody for whatever reason. He just literally don't never one-on-one. He plays free safety a lot, which I'm not gonna hate on him playing free safety because I think he's excellent at it. But it's like he don't guard nobody for the most part. And even still, that's one defender. Like the Raptors, I can name you about 4 or 5 people that can guard Braun and AD.
Yeah. And
I don't think the Bucks really have that. I think they have they gotta kind of pick and choose.
Yeah.
So
and then I forgot the Heat. I am not concerned about the Heat, but I think they can make the finals. I think they have the defenders to make the finals, and they have the streaky shooting with Duncan Robinson to make it. I think this entire playoffs will be something we haven't seen before, and I don't think we'll ever see after this again. And I don't know. What they have makes sense, and then it'll make even more sense if Giannis decides to go to Miami.
If Giannis goes to Miami, that'll be great.
It's a wrap because you got him, Bam, Hero, and then Duncan as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. Butler would still be there. Be probably the best defensive team you would. I mean, I think we've seen in a while.
Because I think the Heat have enough to upset the Bucks whenever they play. It's just I don't know if the Heat can beat the Celtics or the Raptors. That's just where it comes down to.
I can agree with that.
But then again, like Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton get hot, and I don't know. Like I don't see how any team would beat the Bucks as well.
My thing with the Bucks is that I don't know if they know I don't know if they know how to close out games when they actually have to close out a game and they just haven't beat the hell out of the team already. I don't know if they know how to close out a game because I don't think they've been really in that situation too much this year. They were just like running through everybody a lot. And then also they're in a really weird situation where I don't know if they can rely on their best player to get a bucket when you need to get a bucket. And somebody brought this up in our YouTube comments. Giannis is having his worst year from the free throw line.
Okay.
I think he shoots 62%. Okay. So if you a 62% free throw shooter and you can't shoot the ball, at the end of the game, you honestly can't be nothing more than a decoy.
Yeah. You turn into Lonzo.
Yeah, you really can't be nothing too much more than a decoy. Because do you really want to stay on that line alone?
Yeah.
And you already can't shoot, so we know you're gonna drive.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to shoot a 3, be my guest. Like, and if you make it, hey, bro, God bless. If you make a jump shot, God bless. But like, that's not really your game. And then Middleton is like, I like Middleton, and like in theory, Middleton should be able to, be that guy. He's basically a 50, 40, 90 player. But like, I haven't seen it yet for the most part. I mean, I remember that series 2 years ago when it was Bucks Celtics, when I thought Middleton was the best player, that was kind of on the court. But I mean, they lost that series. That went 7 and they lost that series. So it's like we really haven't seen it too much. So I don't really know if they know how to close out games yet. And that's the thing with the Bucks, where it's like, when we get into a game 6 late and what y'all down to, or it's a tie game and it's like a minute left. Do y'all know what y'all doing? Like, do y'all actually know what y'all doing?
Yeah.
And yeah.
So like with the 2 games the Lakers played the Bucks this year, the game the Bucks won, Giannis hit 5 threes, and I believe that was the only time he's done that in his career.
Yeah, if Giannis gonna hit 5 threes, well, we just don't deserve to win that day. Hey, you know what? Great game, bro.
And then the second game they played, the Lakers kind of controlled from beginning to end, and there was a chance for the Bucks to kind of close it, and they couldn't do it because they just didn't really have much to do.
I don't think they know what to do.
So you don't think they know what to do when they get punched in the mouth? They don't know how to come back from that.
Yeah, and then
so the Bucks are a front running team.
Maybe, and then also with Coach Bud, sometimes he makes decisions that make me scratch my head. Like I think he sticks with Eric Bledsoe too long. Sometimes I think he should go to George Hill. I think he sticks with Bledsoe too long. Now I do think that no crowd will help Bledsoe because sometimes I think Bledsoe just starts pacing too fast and doesn't slow down enough. He has like 1 speed to go. And I think that hurts them sometimes. But yeah, I just think that sometimes they just don't know what to do. And I don't even want to say that they're front runners. I just want to say that they haven't been in the situation enough to know how to close out games. Like they literally were destroying people this season. Yeah. And for the most part last year, they were destroying people consistently. Yeah. So they kind of like the Warriors were, when they were 73-9, they were kind of like just destroying people. So they didn't even really know too much how to really close games. Or even when they got KD, they were kind of running through everybody, and you would see kind of in like last minutes, if you can get them in that situation, they like, okay, who do we give the ball to right now? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? We don't know. So I think that the Bucks kind of running into that a little bit.
And like we already talked about the Raptors, we'll talk about the Green team for a bit. Is Kemba going to be ready to play?
I have no idea, but that's a great question. I don't know.
Go ahead. In this environment, this is like the environment he thrives. He did in college. I just think this kind of like AAU, kind of like college basketball kind of atmosphere, this fits what he is, because he's also a tiny guard that Lakers can't guard. If you throw him next to Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, who's played fantastic in the bubble, Jaylen Brown is looking like the player that, I don't know who tweeted this out, but they were like, he's going to be young Scottie Pippen. And like, Jaylen Brown's played he's played very well. I can't wait till he's out of a green jersey. Same with Tatum. But I fear that team more than I do the Bucks, just because we saw what Tatum did against the Lakers. He put up like 40, 42, 45 points last time we played. And just it took Kuz kind of like stopping that scoring run in the third for the Lakers to handle that. And then with the Celtics, they have a center and Daniel Tice, who provides.
I like Daniel Tice. People don't like. I fuck with Tice. I personally like Tice.
And like I think Anthony Davis has that dog in him. It's just Daniel Tice. He's in your face the entire time. So I don't know if AD can handle that over a 7-game series. I hope he can, and I think he can. It's just you never know. And then even with Cantor, Cantor can probably give you 20 and 10 in some random playoff game.
Do you think the Celtics even need Kemba though? It's a real question.
No, because as a Lonzo fan, I love what Marcus Smart brings to the starting role.
I love what Smart brings to the starting role. Also, I think Kemba is probably the weakest defender on the team. He's also a very small guard. I love Marcus Smart's, like I said, I love Marcus Smart's versatility. And Marcus Smart, he's not one of those, he's not Tony Allen. Like, he's not completely inept offensively. Like, if Marcus Smart scores 25, I'm not shocked. I'm going to be like,
he got hot one night, and like, you don't question it. With Tony Allen got 25, you're like, what the hell happened?
What the hell happened, bro? Like, who need to be fired?
Yeah.
Somebody need to be fired at bench. But if like Marcus Smart gets him, like, yo, you just got hot. Like, I remember Marcus Smart at like Oklahoma State. I remember him dropping like 37 sometimes. Yeah. Like, because that's what he did. He just got to the league and found his next, like, you know what, defense is going to be the thing that's going to make me my money. Defense and playmaking, because he's also a very good playmaker, is going to be the thing that's going to make me my money. With the Celtics, I'm actually worried for Kemba's career. When you're a small guard, you can't really afford to lose anything, because you lose something and now you just small, so you lose a little bit of your quickness. People can stay in front of you, and also like he's had this weird injury for like 6 months now. Like, what is actually wrong with his knee? So
is Boston where small guards go today?
I really wonder, and I wonder what their training staff is like, because like literally, what is wrong with Kemba's knee?
I don't know. We haven't got like a definitive answer. We've gotten maybes. We've gotten he's on the court, he's not on the court. I'm like, all right, I don't know. I think it
started last year in Charlotte, actually. Okay. Which is actually why I honestly think Michael Jordan also was like, you know what, we're not paying you. Yeah. For one, the fact that like obviously you're a smaller guard, and I don't think like what was paying Kemba $200 million is going to do for you. Like we weren't even making the playoffs, so like wow. But I also don't think. I think they knew that like, yo, I don't know if this guy's healthy, because I think he had some knee issues last year in Charlotte as well. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, forgive me. I think if my memory serves me well, he did miss some time with like knee injuries in Charlotte last year. So yeah, I wonder if they even really need Kemba. Hayward's been good. Hayward's been stepping up on both sides of the of the ball. He's been good. Wanamaker has been solid off the bench for them. Like a solid point guard. Obviously, he's not going to put up big numbers, but again, all I want from my backup point guards in any level of basketball is if my starter check out the game, we had a 10-point lead, please don't let him check back in down 2, or with a 2-point lead. Just hold the game. Steady the game, hold the game. You ain't got to reinvent the wheel. Just steady the game, hold the game. And I think that Wanamaker can do that. And like, I'm with you. I also think that they have the wings to be able to, offer resistance to the Lakers.
Yeah. So let's just some closing thoughts about Lakers basketball. When do you think they kind of like turn it around with like their mentality? Because they're 3-4 in the bubble. They kind of look shaky. Do you think they flip the switch right away when the playoffs happen?
I don't think right away. I think that they may need to lose a game to flip a switch and really be like, yo, we got to figure something out. We don't want to come out here and get embarrassed. So I don't know about right away, but I think they can eventually get it done. I'm not going to jump off the boat with them, but I will say they don't look great at this moment in time. And the playoffs start in 7 days. Yeah. So you might want to figure it out before you end up down, 2-0 in a series. Or you end up down, I would say going back to somewhere, but ain't nobody going back to nowhere, so that don't really matter. But yeah, before you end up down 1-1 or 2-0 in a series in the first round and you trying to fight your way back. So
do you think all of the contenders have showed weaknesses, or do you think there's like 1 or 2 contenders that haven't?
Depends on who your contenders are.
Contenders are Lakers, Clippers, Rockets, Celtics, Bucks, Raptors.
I think the team that's looked the best is the Rockets out of like that group. Rockets,
even though they should have lost game 1 if Porzingis learns how to rebound.
Yeah, because again, like the overtime happened.
Yeah,
like the Mavericks could have won that game in overtime, and also like they came back from 8. They fought back from 8 down within like 2 minutes.
I just think every contender is kind of like just chilled, and I just think Harden, this kind of like atmosphere fits Harden. Just let me go, no crowd, no distractions, and like kind of like how'd you say it? Not to shit on Harden, but like kind of no expectations, just go out there, play. It's kind of like fits Harden.
Fair.
Whereas in a game 7, he's gonna miss like 27 straight threes with his team or something like that.
And also, I think the Raptors have looked solid. But also, it's kind of hard to get a gauge on some teams because, I think you can have the crutch of like, oh, well, they weren't playing that hard. But it's like, no, some of y'all just lost them games, yo.
Yeah, with the Lakers, some of the fans are saying they didn't really care about that game. Well, then why did I see LeBron and AD playing in the 4th?
Yeah, like, no, they just lost the game. Even with the Clippers, no, they've been losing some games.
Yeah.
You can say what you want to say. They've been losing some games.
Yeah,
some games have just been the Bucks too. Like the Bucks, when they played the Mavericks, they lost that game. That wasn't y'all lost.
Like with the Clippers, when they played the Nets, Kawhi was in the 4th. Kawhi was there. And I'm like, first of all, why is Kawhi in this 4th quarter if the Nets are shooting like 50% from 3, launching like 10 or 15 per quarter? Like, why are you putting him out there?
I mean, you shouldn't be losing to the Nets regardless, but the Nets have somehow found some secret sauce.
I can't believe they won a game in the bubble.
I told you that they was gonna win the game. I saw Wizards. I'm like, they're gonna beat the Wizards and they're probably gonna beat the Kings. Okay. And I think they beat the Wizards and the Kings, and then a whole bunch of other teams that I did not expect, but they did beat the Wizards and the Kings.
Yeah, they have a better bubble record than I believe almost every contender, which is nuts.
Yeah, but those guys over there are playing for a lot. That's a team where somebody got to play with KD and Kyrie next year, and you trying to figure that out. And also, you talk about trades, if let's say they want to go get a Bradley Beal or something like that. Well, this is a showcase for other teams.
This is the Beal showcase. When I watch the Nets play, I'm like, all right, who's in the Beal trade package? Exactly. Right now, it's Karis LeVert. I don't know. Do they give away Jarrett Allen in that deal? Because I think Jarrett Allen would be a perfect 5, playing next to Beal, KD, and Kyrie. But I think they want to keep DeAndre Jordan. I don't know how that works financially, but I believe that's the line of thinking that KD's on.
Yeah, but DJ's cheap though. Like DJ isn't getting. Yeah, DJ could have been getting more than $10 million. I'm sure it's probably even less than that. Yeah, maybe like Jarrett Allen, you give away LeVert. If you keep Spencer in that, and you got Bradley Beal, and you got Kyrie, and you got KD,
and Gary Harris off the bench.
Gary Harris,
who could shoot that shit.
Gary Harris. They talking about getting
Joe Harris. Sorry about that.
Joe Harris. Yeah, and you get them. Hey man, we on our way.
So, closing thoughts. Do you think the Lakers win the finals?
I'm sorry, no.
Okay. Who do you got?
I'm a.
Do you got lemon pepper or you got strip club?
You know what? I'm gonna say the Rockets, man.
Okay.
I'm a say the Rockets, and I'm gonna say the Rockets, and then I'm gonna say, if not them, the Bucks.
Okay, so the Rockets, in your opinion, send the Lakers home in the second round?
I think that yes. I think they can send the Rockets. Yes. But I don't know if the Rockets can beat the Clippers, which is the thing.
Okay.
I don't know if the Rockets can beat the Clippers. So if the Rockets play the Clippers, it's really matchup based. If the Rockets play the Clippers, then I think that they would take that L. But I think the Clippers could beat the Lakers, and I think that in a final series, if the Rockets ended up playing the Bucks, I think they have a shot at it. Because of the fact that the Bucks just don't care about guarding a 3-point line.
Yeah.
So I think they have a shot at it.
But haven't the Bucks theoretically played the Rockets pretty good every time they've matched up?
I think the first game was the first game of the season, and then the second game was the recent game. And I think even the first game of the season, it was a close game, and I don't think Russ was playing yet.
Okay.
I think he might have missed the first game of the season, but. No, I don't think the Lakers win the finals. Sorry, I do not think the Lakers win the finals. No,
I do, and I'm gonna believe in that until the wheels fall off. Hopefully they don't, but we'll see. I will be very happy to see LeBron beat and AD as well. Beat Dame, Melo, CJ, Harden, Russ, Kawhi, PG, and then whoever's in the East.
I mean, shit, if Kawhi and PG even make it to the conference finals,
that would make 17 sweet in LA, and I don't know. I think LeBron wins one in LA, probably gets his jersey retired in LA as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless AD takes 23, I don't know how that works out after, but we'll see.
They're gonna retire it twice.
Yeah,
we're gonna put James on one and put AD on the other one.
So if the Lakers get sent home in the second round, what implications do you think that has on AD's free agency?
I mean, I think that's on AD. I think it depends on how it happens.
Okay. Kind of how like your Paul George take happened, where he returned because of how disastrous he played.
Yeah, but I think it depends on how it happens. Like, is it? Did you get swept?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, yo, like, was it a complete debacle, or was it a situation where it's like, yo, I think, man, if I could have done this and that, then we could have been better. Or you look at the season and you like, man, it's just a really weird season. We got thrown off. Hopefully next year, things get back to a little bit more normal. And something different happens. But I don't think he ever signs a long-term deal with the Lakers. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
Probably a 2+1, I think. Maybe is what he's 1-1.
Maybe probably. Yeah, like I obviously would. Yeah, 1-1. Honestly, I don't think he ever signs long-term deals, but I think that 2-1 maximum, or probably more so a 1-1.
I think he does 1-1, and then I think after that he goes into his like big Laker extension. Just because I think once after I believe 2 or 3 years he qualifies for like that super max, and I think the Lakers give it to him.
Because they have the bird rights. I think after is it 2 years or 3 years where you have somebody bird rights?
I believe it's 3, and I think the only reason why I know that's because of UK.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead and get your plug in. It was nice having you on, Pavi.
As always, man, follow me on Twitter, at Pavi World, Pavy World, all one word. I actually just dropped a project today. For those of you that don't know, I make music. So you can find that on my website, paverbs.com. That's PAverbs, all one word.com. And
And this has been Daniel Beltz from King Watch LA. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.